the local people had been opposing the project for long, and they had also raised number of issues about the improper EIA.
Like they cannot have energy at the cost of the local people. Whole mountain, we are compromising the whole mountain. Communities are at risk. For whom? Whenever I get free time, I like to plant a lot of flowers and a lot of indoor plants, and I love doing gardening. And this is my hydrangea, tree hydrangea, which has been gifted by my cousin auntie. So I have a lot of varieties in my garden, in my collection. Okay. Because I've got a lot of greenery, no? And abhi, this season में a lot of leeches comes. My name is Mayalmit Lepcha. I am from Hiyathang, Lower Dzongu, North Sikkim. And presently I am a General Secretary of Affected Citizens of Teesta. This is an organization which has been working for last more than 2 decades of protecting the rivers, the environment. Basically, we are against the mega hydropower project in our region. Dzongu is a holy land for the Lepcha indigenous community because Mount Kanchenjunga, we call it Kanchenju, is just above Dzongu. We've been created in this land and we have to die in this land. So each clan's, their origin stories are from different rivers, lakes, mountains and springs and caves, So when you have to start the thing, your creation stories are from that, For culturally, historically, environmentally, it is so much connected. And Dzongu, like if you see, it's like in the old laws, it's been protected under notification 3069, where even a Lepcha from other part of Dzongu, when they have to enter Dzongu, they have to take a special permit from the district authority. It's rich in biodiversity and so much of dense forest. There's like a lot of birds early in the morning. We are very close to nature. We wake up very early, like 4:35, because morning is like one of the busiest schedule in every household, because every household they wake up early. They have to light fire because we do puja, to burn the incense, Then if fire say like we heat water, that water that has been used for making tea, and so basically milking the cow. When we don't have breakfast system, we drink tea, some drink water, then some snacks. Then by 7-8 we finish our like we usually eat big heavy breakfast like chawal, rice, dal, sabji. People like if they are non-vegetarian, they make their food. Then easily. But we do a lot of organic farming. जो भी उगाते हैं ना इधर, whatever we like vegetable, we hardly buy from market. We get everything: cabbages, silicon, cauliflower, cucumber, this bitter gourd. If you see in rural area, basically the farmers, they do a lot of planting because they need plant for the fodders, and वो gene में ही है कि they have to do a lot of farming. Not farming, means they have to do a lot of plantation. मेरे तो वो घर पहले से ही like my grandfather से like a great grandfather, they used to do a lot of planting. So and मेरा भी like I've got a passion of planting a lot of trees. So I encourage other people also, if you get time, they should plant. Chalo, I'll show you my kiwi farm. This is the first fruit that we got this year. इसमें first year का fruit है. देखो चिट्टा चिट्टा आ गया है. Very cute. This happiness is like, I can't express in words. Even it comes in very little also. कुछ हो रहा है. Like when you're doing something, it's कुछ फल मिला है तो we feel like doing more. देखो ऐसा लगाया है. क्या है? Green house में red chilies, Delhi chilies. So मेरा घर, it's in middle of the jungle. ये उधर देखो तो वो dense forest है सब. अभी सब dense forest हो गया है, पर पहले we used to have a large cardamom field, all a large cardamom field. And उधर भी it's all dense for like forest beyond my our area is all dense forest. So we live in the beautiful dense forest with fresh air. क्या चाहिए life में? Fresh air चाहिए, less noise. We are like, if आपने भी experience किया होगा कि like early morning we don't have alarms. The birds will wake up us, So you'll not get to stay like this anywhere in the world with like so much of so-called development, so much of advancements in technology. But we are happy with what we are, where we are living, peacefully at the end of the day. As a Lepcha community, be it like for the food, for the vegetables, for everything. So we are so much depend on this, the forest and this environment and the land, that. So we cannot live without this. When I first I started my participating in ACT was back in 2005-6 May. I was in first year college in Gangtok, where we had a meeting, and the elder people had come from a community saying that Dzongu mein hydropower project is coming and this is going to happen, and this they're going to acquire land, they're going to and if this comes there'll be a lot of destruction. So that was my waking call for me as a personally. I studied in scholarship in Tashinami Academy in Gangtok in name of Dzongu. So what I personally felt is I should give back to the community. What I know, what is there, what is wrong, I should guide my community because we've been educated, So that's why that feeling was me that I have to go back to my community and, explain them and give awareness. And it's our ancestor land, and nobody has right to sell off. No, even my I'm here with my ancestor land. I have no rights to sell off this land because my responsibility is to keep as safe as for my future generation. the ACT became more in the limelight when the concerned Lepcha of Sikkim, which was consist of the youth. We met a former CM, Sri Pawan Kumar Chamling. Then he was Chief Minister. We went to meet him and we briefed him about that we are not happy, or we don't want to your policies of proposing this hydropower project in place like Dzongu, because it's going to violate the laws, it's going to violate the indigenous rights, and you're going to impact the environment and ecology and everything. So I think we waited for 6 months, there were no response. So ultimately our seniors, they decided to sit for an indefinite hunger strike, and we started on June 28th in 2007. So where our brother Dawat Shring Lepcha and my cousin Tenzing Gyatso Lepcha, they were in indefinite hunger strike. And we were in first year college, we were a young group. We were doing the hunger strike. Then we were coming back to Dzongu also, meeting the people, community, telling that we are in hunger strike. Those times social media was not that active as today, So we used to go to each and every village, meet the people and talk about the environment, the importance of the environment, and how we're going to impact when the hydropower project comes to a region, So we started this, and I think for 66 days, there's two of my brother, they were in indefinite hunger strike. That was in first phase. With that, we could scrap 4 hydropower projects. And this hydropower project was inside the Kanchenjunga National Park. If we have not raised the concern, if we have not raised the issues, the government would have gone ahead with that. I think ACT ka ye movement jo ACT have started, I think it's considered one of the successful movement in India, because we could scrap 4 hydropower projects. In 2007-9 we were doing hunger strike. We were demanding this 2 projects to scrap, Panang and hydropower project. But somehow political influence say something happened, so we could not stop this stage 3. For stage 3, in public hearing, people have made concern. They have raised the race issues. But I still remember when in public hearing, some of our friends, when they raised, they were arrested.
जब हामी पब्लिक टिस्टा स्टेज 3 को पब्लिक हियरिङमा हामी गएको थियो, हामीलाई त हामी त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ बोल्ने यो पब्लिक हियरिङ भने पब्लिकको एउटा सुन्नु पर्यो नि। तर त्यहाँ चाहिँ के भयो भने चाहिँ हामीलाई त त्यहाँ एक ठाउँ टुङ भन्ने जग्गा हाम्रो चेकपोस्ट छ, त्यहाँ नै हामीलाई पुरै सर्च गरेर, गाडी सर्च गरेर हामीलाई उयो गर्यो, जानु पनि दिएन, लेटै भयो। माथि ग्राउन्डमा पुग्दाखेरि अलरेडी हियरिङ स्टार्ट भइसकेको थियो। अलिकति हामीले पुलिस कस्टडीमा राखेर हामीलाई बोल्नु पनि दिएन। कम्पनी र गभर्नमेन्ट बसेर नै उहाँहरूले प्रोग्राम गरेको रहेछ। त्यसमा पोल्युसन बोर्ड कन्ट्रोलको चेयरम्यान हाम्रो म्याडम एउटा हुनुहुन्थ्यो, अन्त उहाँको भयो। अरू त्यो टाइममा हिसे लाचुङपा सरको टाइममा हो, 1-2 वचन बोल्छु भन्दा पनि त्यहाँदेखि हामी त्यो टाइममा पुरै आवाज उठायो। यस्तो हुन्छ उस्तो हुन्छ भनेर चाहिँ पुरै भएको थियो। तेन्जिङ थियो, तेन्जिङ 1-2 जनालाई त त्यतिकै। अन्त त्यो टाइममा अन्त हाम्रो चाहिँ हाम्रो संस्थाको कुरा एउटा के राखौँ भन्दा पनि हामीलाई चाहिँ चान्सै दिएन भन्दा पनि त्यो उनीहरुकै एउटा पुरै हाम्रो चाहिँ कुरै मानेन। त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ त्यस्तो भएको। हाम्रो पनि एउटा कुराकानी राखौँ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ डेभलपर प्लस गभर्नमेन्टको पोल्युसन बोर्डको मान्छेहरूले उहाँको डिपार्टमेन्टले हाम्रो चाहिँ कुरै मानेन हामीलाई।
EIA, EMP and all, if you see, it's all copy paste. If you see, they haven't done proper study. But some people, like mines and geologists, have given warning saying that coming of mega dams in the region is not suitable because this region is very fragile and very eco-sensitive. We went to NGT also, that was also not being heard. Then we went again ahead of PIL also, that was also not being heard. At the end, what happened in 4th of October?
Glacial Lake Outburst struck North Sikkim, sending shockwaves across the northeastern state. The lake outburst occurred in Lonak Lake in North Sikkim.
The South Lonak Lake in Sikkim, which triggered massive devastation in the Himalayan state, was identified as a hazardous lake by a team of renowned scientists from across the globe in 2019 and 2021.
My name is Himanshu Thakkar and I work for an organization called South Asia Network on Dams, Rivers and People, SANDRP. This organization is active since about 27 years now. See, Sikkim is a Himalayan state. Himalaya is a new mountain. Because it's a new mountain, it's relatively fragile. Most part of the state, there are very steep slopes. And Sikkim has also significantly high rainfall. So, and then there is a seismic activity. And the rainfall plus high slopes and the seismic activity also means that there is the area is erosion prone. It's also flood prone. In the context of climate change, new vulnerabilities are coming. There's more intense rainfall events, which brings more vulnerability in terms of flash floods and floods. In addition, there is another vulnerability which is called GLOF, Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. That happens because the glaciers are melting because of the increased temperature. And when they melt, the glacial lakes are created. Now those glacial lakes are bound by very weak moraine bonds actually. And they are very fragile. And when the lakes go beyond a certain level, there is a possibility of breach of those lakes. And when they breaches, like it happened in first week of October 2023 in Sikkim from South Lonak Lake, suddenly there is a huge amount of water flows out of the lake. The Teesta 3 project was part of the Sikkim government's power plan, a 1200 megawatt project, the largest capacity project in Sikkim by far. And it was come up at Dzongu, where the two main tributaries of Teesta, Lathengchu and another one, meet, and then Teesta forms actually. And it was initially a state government project. Later on it was handed over to private company. But the state government still had a stake, and then they have sold that stake also now. We analyzed the whole thing and we raised number of questions. There was no early warning system, of course, which was should have been there. The South Lonak Lake was known to be expanding for more than 30 years now. So it was known. Public research information was there. Even CWC said it is a possible source of GLOF. The local people had been opposing the project for long, and they had also raised number of issues about the improper EIA, management plan not being proper, studies not being done properly. They had also raised that this project is vulnerable to Glacial Lake Outburst Flood, and they actually then not only wrote to the authorities before the public hearing in 2005-06 when the project was being considered for clearance. They also then filed a petition against it in National Green Tribunal. Neither the Ministry of Environment nor the state government heard what they said, nor did the National Green Tribunal heard it properly. There is no accountability. In fact, there is no mechanism for accountability. No questions are ever asked after the disaster as to what happened in the disaster, what were the causes of the disaster, what is it that we can learn, who were responsible, how we can hold them accountable. We don't have a system for any disaster. On the night of 3rd October also, the first information about the South Lonak Lake GLOF generation came from BSF, Jawan, much upstream from the project, very close to the point where it was generated. He saw it around 10:30 at night, 3rd October. And he immediately informed his seniors in Gangtok. His seniors also informed the authorities quickly. The authorities then also informed the dam authorities. The flood then reached the dam site about more than an hour later. So they had enough time. There was early warning available, but they couldn't use that. And towards the end of that period, they were trying to open the gates. They were trying to shut down the project. They said they couldn't do it. Why they couldn't do it, we don't know. When they got to know that this kind of flood is coming, if they had immediately shut down the project and opened the gates, then it's very likely that a significant impact of the GLOF may have been absorbed by the dam. And the downstream area may have been affected with less intense floods. But none of that happened.
In public hearing, I've never seen a single DC talking about the impacts of dams and impacts of hydropower project or impacts of any kind of. If they talk and if they tell to the people that this project is coming, advantage ye hai, disadvantage ye hai, karne se hai na, I think that the people will be very clear. But when they come, they will talk about the advantage only, but they don't talk about the disadvantage. We are just kept with the false promises. You get rich. That is the one that always the government mind mein. They are taking our land, they are taking our river. Only thing that we are getting is a compensation. That is also half the money is been taken by commission by our bureaucrats and politicians and all. Even for basic employment, what kind of employment we as in Sikkimese people are getting? Like youth, we are graduate, postgraduate. Do you want to be a laborer? Number one. Only thing that we get is as a laborer only. Because when it starts commission, no, it's all technical and it's all mechanical. We don't like such ingenious skills we don't have. Ultimately, we have seen people being more poor than what we used to have. They cannot have energy. People are at the cost of the local people. And these energy is for the metropolitan city. These energies are from the big cities where people are not mindful of how they are using it. Here, the whole mountain, we are compromising the whole mountain. We are whole, communities are at risk. For whom?
So first is there is vulnerability, then climate change is another, and then because we are not doing proper environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment or disaster impact assessments, we are adding a layer of another problem. We have been monitoring EIAs since more than almost 3 decades now. I haven't seen a single honest EIA. I have been challenging the authorities to show me one single honest EIA which has actually scientifically assessed the impacts of the project. Environment clearances and environment process are seen as a hindrance in the path of development and GDP growth and economic growth and so on. All this process I describe, environment clearance process, is very problematic. Every stage there is a problem. It doesn't mean you don't take up any developmental projects. What it means is that you need to take an informed, scientifically informed decision-making process, and you need to have a democratic decision-making process. But because we are not doing that, most projects end up creating more problem than solving any.